What is going on, you guys? Bashtian YGO here. Now, it's not that my energy level is low. I'm talking a little bit lower because I have my dog at my feet, and I don't want her to, get spooked and run away because her fur is very fuzzy on my feet. That's a bit too much information, but that's why we're here. So today, guys, I'm coming at you with the top 128 ABC Therion deck profile from about 2 weeks ago at this point. No, about a week ago, week and a half ago. The European Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship just happened essentially about a week ago. Not the most recent YCS Brazil, which should have just concluded at the time of recording this video, but I finally found a deck list for this man, Oliver Newton, I believe his name is. So he's the only ABC in top 128, which is insane. I think it's the very first top 128 they've had. Over 2,000 players, I believe, showed up there. So absolutely massive event. So kudos to Konami for being able to host that many individuals and that many talented players in one spot at the same time. So that's really exciting to see for the future of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Overall. But overall, I just want to go ahead and talk about this deck list, guys. So he played a going second ABC Therion deck profile. And if you guys do want to see more of his explanation, his breakdown, I'll leave a link in the description for that, and I'll also leave a link and cards up in the description if you guys want to go ahead and check out the actual live duel, because he was on a feature match, I believe in round 8. He was going up against Sprite, so it's a very cool match. Really fun to go ahead and see ABC in action against one of the top tier 0 decks. The format obviously not tier 0, but with speculation. So just to get you a perspective of how well this deck really did in the actual tournament itself. Honestly, I think this deck is really spicy, really cool. And if you guys again want to see more of his explanation, his breakdown, link will be in the description. Alright guys, so first things looking at this deck is that it's definitely a very go second build. He main deck evenly match was absolutely crazy, but let's go ahead and break it down card by card. So he plays the standard ABC package for current decks, which is 2A, 3B, and 2C. I believe it's also a standard package back when ABC was top tier back in the day. One Union driver, which is pretty much mandatory at this point for all ABC decks. What was interesting, he only played 2 Regulus and 2 of the Therion field spell. I guess with this being a more going second build, he wanted to go ahead and make sure he had enough cards in his deck so he can actually go second comfortably and still be able to go ahead and have that additional draw during his turn. So starting off with technically 6 cards in your hand for your first turn is not a bad idea, especially because you're going to have a higher chance of seeing that Therion or Regulus. In the end, the math, I think, evens out if you're going to be going second, because you do get that extra card, plus you're buying yourself extra time to go ahead and get ready with your going second card. So definitely not a bad concept overall. Next, for the hand traps and going second cards, he plays 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, definitely a staple hand trap. 3 copies of Cyframe Gamma, which is arguably the best hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! From time to time, format to format. So it's definitely hovers around definitely one of the top spots. The only downside to it is that it does have the Vanilla Monster driver. So that's really the only knock on the Cyframe Gamma package, unfortunately, which he doesn't play Emergency Teleport. ABC doesn't really need to play Emergency Teleport. It's really just, like I said, a going second deck, so this is why you want to go ahead and maximize your high impact hand traps. For other going second cards, we have 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More in the main deck, which is pretty much standard, unfortunately, at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to go ahead and play either 3 Dark Ruler No More or Mystic Mine if you want to play competitively, and if you want to win competitive games, you are going to have to put at least Dark Ruler, if not also Mystic Mine as well in your deck. No Mystic Mine in this one, which is kind of refreshing to see, even in the side deck, so that's really nice. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, again, one of the better hand traps of the format. 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Again, if you're going to be going second, this is definitely going to be one of the best cards to do. It's still holding around $25 to $30 price point last I checked, so I still have not picked up my copy. I really should, but this video is not about my financial decisions. This video is about Mr. Newton's top 128 going second ABC deck profile. Anyway, so that's going to be it for the going second cards and hand traps, guys. Now for consistency and more engine. You are going to be playing, just consistency at this point. So you play 1 copy of Set Rotation. Again, this ABC deck is very heavily reliant on its field spell, so definitely mandatory at this point. Surprised he didn't play either try to play Demise of the Land, because you can play going second and still play Demise of the Land with the amount of summoning your opponents do, or decks do, during your opponent's turn as well, which is actually so crazy. Tier Elements will have a field day if they're able to go ahead and make sure that they're, you know, special summon at least 3 or 4 times during not even their turn. I think I just saw a video of this guy won an entire match playing Tier Elements, and he did not even take a turn. It was just all playing during his opponent's turn. He was going second, so it was absolutely crazy. I'll see if I can find it. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys. That was really cool to see. Terraforming, of course. This was really spicy. What's next is the Sky Striker Engage and Hornet Drones. So this was really cool. He actually used this in the feature match as well, if I remember correctly. So you have a lot of spells in the grave, so Engage is really good because you're able to go ahead and search out your Hornet Drones and then draw a card, so it's consistency right off the bat. But Hornet Drones is really good because if you're going to be going second, it immediately gives you a monster on board. You go into Kagari, which Kagari is a machine monster, and then you search back the Hornet Drone, activate Hornet Drone again, and then you have 2 monsters, one of them being a machine, which does open up a whole bunch of options for your link climbing plays. So I thought this was really spicy. I haven't seen this before in ABC, and I really like this this concept a lot. Next, play 3 copies of Union Hanger. Like I said, this deck is very reliant on making sure that you're able to get that field spell out. 3 copies of Power Prosperity for, again, consistency. This reached around 130 to 140, I think even $150 price point during the time of the European Championship, which is actually so crazy to even consider this card so expensive. I was like this to picking up my copies, and then I said, no, you know what? That's almost like a $400 to $500 investment at that point. It's just financially for me, I can't do that right now. So hopefully it gets reprinted in the Mega Tints and I can pick one up for like 20 bucks. That'd be nice. That's wishful thinking, but it is what it is. So last card, I should say, in the main deck is going to be 3 copies of Unauthorized Reactivation, which is pretty much standard in most ABC builds. But honestly, I really love what he did with the deck. I mean, ABC naturally would want to go first, set up its negations, and then Appaloosa, ABC Dragon Buster, you know, things like that. Maybe IP Masquerena to go and into the Appaloosa first to begin with. So this going second build is really cool. He plays a lot of cards in his main deck and extra deck as well that help him accomplish this goal, and no wonder he did so well. If you listen to his breakdown, his theory behind everything, he really goes into detail as far as explaining every single card. So I really like it. I kind of want to have a like a live stream session with him. Potentially that'd be really cool, so I can go ahead and pick his brain a little bit. That'd be really interesting, but maybe a little bit further down the line. So that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Now on to the extra deck. Extra deck, he played 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, which is auto win against Tier Elements essentially, so I definitely respect his choice. He said in his deck profile he considered taking it out for another Link monster, but I personally think Abyss Dweller was the correct move considering how well Tier Element was doing in the feature matches and the overall championship to begin with. I mean, Tier Element and Sprite took up the same amount of slots going into top 128, and then Tier Element just kind of started inching its way a little bit higher. So I think that that's really smart to go ahead and have this in your extra deck. Next, for the other Link monsters, he plays 1 of the Clara and Rushka, the Ventrilla Duo. 1 Lina the Light Charmer, 1 Kagari, which we already broke down, 1 Platinum Gadget, standard in all ABC decks, IP of course, Appaloosa, access code, pretty much standard because you're going to be having a lot of monsters on the board with this deck, so very easy to go ahead and link climb into the higher level monsters. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World is a really cool card, and a card that honestly I've been going back and forth whether I want to pick up or not. It is potentially to be reprinted very soon, so it's as a card I'm going to hold off on for right now, but I think it's demanding on a $40 to $50 price point, and it's definitely worth it. I mean, you can use a monster your opponent controls as link material, which prevents any type of like non-targeting effects, can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, things like that. So I think Underworld Goddess of the Closed World is a really good card, and if your extra deck can fit it in, I think it's definitely a must in the extra deck. Next, for the last of the Link monsters, he does wrap it up with the Nightmare package, which is really cool. He added Cerberus, which is interesting. If he's considering playing another Link monster in here, like maybe the Card Blocker or the Bujin Link monster, which I know are really good in ABC as well, I probably cut the Cerberus, but I mean, who am I to argue with the top 128s? Next for the fusions, of course, he plays 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster. He's most likely going to be going into all of them and grinding your game, so it's really good to go ahead and have that as well. That's going to be it for the extra deck, guys. Now on to the side deck. He plays side decks 2 Nibiru, which is an interesting call. I always thought when Nibiru is something that you really want to see, or you just don't really care about it at all. This format, I'm not sure Nibiru is the best hand trap to go into to play, but then that also leads to the factor where if you don't think it's good, then it's good because you don't think people are going to play it. So when someone plays it, then it's really good and you don't play around it as much. So Nibiru is a weird card to judge really whether it's good or bad. Essentially, it's just overall it's a great card, but it's just depending on the format, what you want to play it or not, things like that. And I think we're kind of steering a little bit further away from the adventure package engine in every single deck. I think Nibiru could potentially be coming back, but we'll see what happens. Next he plays 3 copies of the DD Crow, which I've vouched to be one of the best hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, I could not believe that DD Crow Ultra Rare was like $2 or $3 a few months back, and now I think we're going for like 13s, 15s. That's definitely a lot more like what they should be. So DD Crow is a phenomenal hand trap, especially now with tier elements, and just a lot of, not just tier elements, to bring sprite targets in the graveyard. You know, a Dragon Link works with the graveyard, although if you banish some of their cards, they might get more effects. So I think DD Crow is just phenomenal to go ahead and play in this deck. In any deck, I think if DD Crow is potential to is able to be in the deck or a side deck, is definitely a card you should highly consider. Next for the spells in the side deck, he plays 1 copy of Called by the Grave, which during his breakdown he did explain it was just because of not enough space in the main deck, which I understand. I mean, Called by the Grave is a lot better of it going first card than going second, so in the event that he feels like his opponent might make him go first, then he might side in the Called by the Grave, which I think is interesting. I might have considered playing it as a 40-second card deck, but again, he did very well with the deck, so I'm not going to argue with that. For the remainder of spells inside, he plays 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, which is pretty standard. I mean, everyone's playing at least 2 to 3 copies of back or removal in the side deck for the most part. And then he finished it off with 3 copies of Deep Barrier and then 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment is a card that I know a lot of people are sleeping on right now for some reason, but I think this card is absolutely the nuts. If you're ever forced to go first, it's really good. Getting rid of dealing with sprites, dealing with tier elements, dealing with even with this deck as well. You just gotta know what to hit. It deals with punks. It saved my ass definitely when I was going in my last local. So that's definitely going to be a really good call. Again, it's one of those cards where if you have the space, definitely want to go ahead and make sure that it's there. But I just don't think a lot of people are citing this card essentially right now. So honestly, I really like Solemn Judgment and I love the call for it. Of course, Deep Barrier is kind of like a staple side deck card at this point. So overall, I want to say, guys, I love the build that the Oliver Newton made for this event. He did mention that he didn't really get too much testing out the way, but honestly, with a top 128 finish, with a deck like this that's really spicy, to be honest, with the Sky Striker engine in it as well, which is again machine cards, so really cool. Honestly, absolutely love the deck. I love the theory behind it, and honestly, I can honestly see a lot more people potentially picking up ABC down the line. Just because it's a fun deck to play. I mean, ABC has always been one of those decks that, yes, it was top tier, but it was never boring to play. And I feel like we get to that a lot of very repetitive formats where Sword Soul and Branded Despia, things like that, they were really good decks, but again, a little bit more boring to play on the side. So I think ABC Therion is really cool decks, a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun to play, so it's a deck that I might consider picking up once Prosperity gets reprinted, of course. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I did want to get this out to you guys as soon as possible, so please forgive me for taking a little bit longer than expected. It was just really hard to find, honestly, through the YouTube verse. So if you guys do enjoy these videos, go ahead and leave a like down below, subscribe for more, guys. I'm going to try to get as many of the top deck profiles out here for you guys. If I can't break them down like this, I'll definitely have them in a video, you know, with a deck list. So if that's something you guys want to see, make sure you subscribe down below. Let me know again what decks you guys are interested in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.